Don't we often say, don't judge a book by its cover? But how many times did we really mean it? How many times did we do something without the fear of being judged? The answer is way less than the number of times we have actually said this line. Well, I was no different. For the most part of my life, I lived with the fear of what would my family, my friends, or society say if I do this or do that. Now I have reached a point where people's opinion and judgment really doesn't bother me anymore. But don't think the journey was easy, but I say people had worse than me, and that's what keeps me moving. So, I belong to a typical middle class family, so you all can bet that I had all the restrictions and expectations a middle class girl can have. I was provided with all the luxuries a middle class family can afford, but again within confined walls. All the restrictions and expectations created a rebel out of me, and to add to it, I was a bookworm. So I learned the two most dangerous three-letter words, how and why. My questions to my parents, age-old book of how to be a good girl, put the chains around my wings even tighter. To all my questions, I used to get more or less the universal answer, do whatever you want to do after you get married. Hearing this all the time made me think of marriage as a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I was 22, was in the first semester of my master's, and I finally got my freedom. I was happily married. At least I thought so. But as people say, life never happens the way you plan it. The grass always looks greener the other side, but you get to see the real picture once you reach that point. Moreover, when it's a love marriage, society doesn't give you the right to complain against it, even if it turns abusive and is toxic. For a good 3-4 years, people almost convinced me that I was the one at fault. The worst part was, I myself went on trying to reach different milestones, thinking if I do certain things, situation will get better. In between all this, I gave birth to a baby girl, and that was a waking call for me. I took almost 5 years to finally learn how to take a stand for myself. I decided to break the toxic marriage and live a happy life with my daughter. But the story of judgment never really ended. Not a mother material, a selfish woman, only thinking about her career, a family breaker, etc., etc. I get to hear all this even now. But do you know what the difference is? Now I just smile and I carry on. The problem with society is when you try to go ahead and do what you want to do, they'll always talk. See, I always believed for a child it's way better to see two happy separated parents rather than seeing two unhappy parents together in a toxic marriage. But you know what the problem was? Believing in it was not enough. I wanted people's approval. As a result of the turmoil over the last few years, my mental health was in shambles. While I was battling my postpartum depression, let me tell you, I was not even aware of what depression was at that point of time. I had to hear I was being dramatic and I was an attention seeker. But all I wanted was to be heard. I realized one thing, that there are plenty others living a caged life like me, and that made me take counseling and well-being as my second profession. So while I was searching for different ways to speak out and to challenge those age-old stereotypical thoughts, one day I read an article that said, you can borrow a human as a book and read at a human library where stereotypes are challenged. The curious me had to know more about the organization. Well, people called it another crazy idea, but I called it another dream of mine. It took almost 1.5 years to get the license from Denmark to organize it in Kolkata. But as I say, I go even for my craziest dream, and so I did. Now, if you all ask me what human library is, it's a library of humans, a worldwide social movement that creates a safe space for people to come forward and share their brave stories of breaking stereotypes and challenging age-old prejudices. It started in the year 2000 in Denmark and is a brainchild of Ronnie Abergel, currently operating in more than 80 countries. Every book from our bookshelf represents a group of society that are often subjected to prejudice, discrimination, or stigmatization because of their belief system, their lifestyle, disability, or social status. It helps readers understand diversity and be more inclusive. If I share the story behind taking this initiative, well, initially I wanted to be a human book. And I wanted to share my story and challenge the stigmas against divorce. But when I searched for human library in Kolkata, leave getting one, I saw people were not even aware of the concept. As rightly Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in this world. Thus, I thought of bringing this beautiful concept in my city. Presently, India has plenty of human libraries and Kolkata got her own in the year 2019. It's a library where I say the books breathe and they talk back. We human beings tend to listen to a story and on the basis of our assumption, we create our own set of prejudices. But imagine a book talks to you regarding that. You can even question back. Because we say difficult questions are expected and answered at a human library. So, the search for human books began the team of 7 librarians from the day it was incepted. The first challenge that we faced was deciding on which prejudice to work upon, as you all will be overwhelmed with the number of preconceived notions that exist in our society once you start digging. Another challenge was getting the human books who were willing to speak against those notions. The process was exhaustive, yet so thrilling, I tell you all. We used to call different people to get leads. We have traveled to various nooks and corners of the city in search of human books. We used to have plenty meetings, listening to the stories and lose track of time. There was not even a single day when my team and I didn't return home blown away, questioning the workings of the world. Such brave and bold were my human books. Let me share an instance with you all. We got a lead from Shonagachi, Asia's largest red light area. We were excited and nervous at the same time. Just like any other, we thought we are going to listen to a story of sex, slavery or human trafficking. But little did we know that our perspective was going to change forever. She was a proud walker and all she wanted was respect like any other human being. She shared how she turned a medieval practice into her profession and for that she had to struggle every day to earn the bare minimum and support her children. Hearing her story, we did not sympathize with her. Rather, we realized she had every right to choose her profession and deserved the respect and opportunity like any other outside her profession. I recall her saying she wanted to be called an artist and a performer because for her she used to perform for her clients. Today she is a human book with over 100 readers and if only I could share in words the feelings of the readers. See, when the people came, they came with a lot of judgments. But after reading her, plenty had only one thing to say. If only we got a chance to listen to a story like this before. Imagine you walking in a library and you choose a book who will talk to you, like a widow who chose to take forward her husband's legacy and support the finances of her family by making Ma Durga idols. In a male-dominated profession, where she is not even allowed to touch the goddess when she would bleed every month. Or a woman who is acquitted of murder charge and had to start her life all over again after already serving 14 years of sentence in jail and had to overcome all the odds against her. Even the clear certificate didn't stop people from judging her. But for the people who read her that day, went back home with a different perspective and an oath not to judge and come to a conclusion next time they hear a story like this. Think about a father who stood against the whole society to support his gender non-conforming child in achieving Z dreams. Sounds brave, right? I tell you all, it is. He did inspire plenty other parents to be the support their child needs. Human Library Kolkata has been able to collect and fill its bookshelf with over 20 books in different prejudice pillars, and I say many more to come. With over 100 readers, the journey has been a successful one and a long, long way to go. I've seen changing the perspectives of many people. I have seen people pouring their heart out and bringing the positive change in the mindset of the people. I remember the readers coming to me and thanking me for having found answers to their questions in their human books. We human beings tend to get very comfortable with our daily belief system. So coming out of that and challenging those takes a lot of courage. And I'm so proud of the human books all over the world for having that courage and sharing their brave stories to inspire others. Let me share an example. The human book on female domestic violence survivor took years to finally take a stand for herself. According to her, it was already too late, but she wanted to share her story to inspire others. I personally could relate to her so much. When the whole society makes you feel pathetic just because you chose yourself leaving others, it does shatter your strength. Do you know how it feels? It's like you are trying to climb up a mountain and hundreds are pulling you down. So you need that extra strength, you need that extra dose of courage to carry on in the journey that is right for you. And Human Library is all about that extra strength and extra courage. Let me share what happened in her first session. All 6 readers were a bunch of male college students, and once the session got over, they came to me and said, Deblina, we are thankful to listen to a story like this, and we'll make sure that we try to bring the positive change that we learned today. It still gives me goosebumps. See, I know there are plenty of awareness programs going on all over the world, but do you know how human libraries are different? Here, you share emotions. You talk to a person regarding that awareness topic. It's way deeper than just reading an article. Creating meaningful and positive conversation is the most important medium of bringing the change that is needed in the society. It's high time we challenge the stereotypical thoughts and bring the much needed change in the colloquy so that we can have open conversations without the fear of being judged. Isn't it beautiful to hear someone out, not to judge, but just to listen and understand their perspective? The way I had to struggle against the age-old traditions, I don't want anybody else to do that. Trust me, it takes immense courage to come out and challenge what is wrong in the society. I can't tell you how peaceful it is to see someone coming out of their closet and challenging what is wrong. So next time, if you all hear a story of inclusion or a story of coming out of closet or of someone for just being different from the societal standards, share with that person that they can be a human book and inspire many others. I really thank the Human Library organization for giving me this platform and taking it forward to aware people. See, I know I cannot bring a change overnight, but someone needs to start somewhere, right? So I request you all to create a safe space for people to speak out. I wish to go to every corner of the world in search of human stories and to bring it forward, to bring the change in the society that I dream of every single day. A society where people will come forward to help you, not just stand and judge you and laugh at your failure. In return, I request you all, try to judge a little less. If not, #unjudge. Please don't judge a book by its cover. Thank you.